Dun 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 dun, 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 dun. And begin. Let's begin. Where's the button? Push the button. How do we advance the slide? Oh, here it is. Okay, so hello people. I'm Teacher Joko, and I'm here today to bring you a little tutorial for those just starting out about how to do part 1 of the academic IELTS writing task. We have a classic example today of a table with data on it, and I'm going to give you some tips about how to organize your report and things that you need to do to achieve a high band score. Find your division. That's the basic theme here. Find a way to categorize the data into 2 parts. Yeah? Now, most IELTS instructors will recommend using a 4-paragraph model. This has sort of become the standard. And the first part is introducing the task, just describing what the graph shows. Then you're going to have your overview, and I add in 2 parts. Then your first division and your second division. I'll explain those more here. So, in the first paragraph, it's just you're going to paraphrase the information that's provided to you, which describes what the graph is. And there's a little trick that was taught to me by a guy who's been teaching IELTS since IELTS started, and it seems to work do well for our students, and that's the use of a relative pronoun, which we'll come to when I show you my model. Okay. Paraphrasing is very important here. Your overview, you want to use your overview to highlight the division in your table, in your data. You divide it into 2 parts. And in the first division, you categorize the data into a group and you describe the main features of that group, or what separates it from the other group, the second division. So your overview not only provides the most relevant features, but it provides an organization that you can follow with your body paragraphs. So here was the rubric on the task given to us by someone it was given to us in Cambridge IELTS 5, but someone did it and put it on the IELTS Tips and Tricks group. It's been around for a long time. I've reviewed this before. Well, first thing to do is analyze the table. Tell us, what does it show? Okay, well, you got cities, yeah, dates, yeah, kilometers, passengers, millions a year. Okay, all right. So anything stand out when you first look at it? Well, yeah. Passengers. Huge difference between the first 3 and the second 3. Oh, and the first 3 are much older than the second 3. Hey, we might have stumbled into a very obvious way to divide this, but there's other ways to do it. Look, London and Paris are in Europe, whereas Tokyo and Kyoto are in Japan, and Washington, D.C. and L.A. are in the U.S. Could we divide it into 3 groups? You could, but probably not the best idea. Instead, think of it as new and old. Yeah? 1863 to 1927. Pre-war, early 20th century, and into the 19th century. And here we have modern. There's lots of synonyms you can use to divide this division. These are old and long and lots of passengers. These are new, not used very much. Here's how I would start this task. Now this is when I'm talking about the relative pronoun. There is a table, which shows data specific to 6 subway networks found in 3 regions of the globe. Which is the component, that's a complex sentence right there to start off. And they're looking for a variety of complex sentences. There is a table. That's a complete sentence. It which shows data. That's another complete sentence. Put them together, you got a complex sentence. And you ticked off that. You got plenty of time to do it in the rest of the report, but what if you forget? Okay. 6 subway networks. Note, the task talks about underground railway systems. Boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? That's a lot of words to describe a subway. Networks, systems, same thing. Found in 3 regions of the globe. Now here I'm taking some of that categorization that I noted before, Japan, USA, and Europe, and introducing it here. Overall, it can be seen that the three oldest systems are larger and exhibit much greater passenger use than those built closer to the modern day. A bit wordy, I think, but it does use some good collocation. Anyway, that was what I would write. Here is what our candidate wrote. Okay? The table illustrates data on the underground railway systems in 6 different cities. Illustrates data on is the only, and different, the only words that are not in the instructions. The table. Gives information about. Illustrates data on. The underground railway systems. The underground railway systems in 6 cities. Can't copy from the question like that, or you shouldn't if you want to get a high score. Overall, it is clear that London has the oldest underground system, and repeating the words underground system, with the longest route, just one route. Whereas people traveled the most by the railway system again, in Tokyo and Paris as compared to other countries. Now, why they traveled, here it's the past tense, but here it's the present tense, has traveled. Did they break? They're not using them in Paris and Tokyo anymore? And these are cities, not countries. Okay, 3 body paragraphs. You're not following the 4-paragraph model. In Tokyo, there's no transition between your overview and your body paragraphs here. It just kind of jumps in. Was that in the overview, Tokyo? Yeah, it was. But you need a better transition there. Underground railway system, copied again, was opened in 1927, which was 155 kilometers long. Okay, 1927 was 155 kilometers long. When you use your pronoun here, which, our brain automatically looks to the closest noun to it as a, particularly with a comma there like that. With the comma, we're saying it's a non-defining relative clause. So I think 1927 is 155. Oh, it's not. Okay. In this system, what system? Okay, yeah, the underground one. A total of 1,927 million passengers. There's another way to say that, by the way. What is it? Yeah? What's 1,000 million? They call them billions. 1.9 billion. Nearly 2 billion. Yeah? They want to show that flexibility with words if you want good lexical resource bands. Annually. Similarly, how is it similar? Paris's railway system was inaugurated, oh, that's a good word. Yeah, okay, good. In 1900, and has a route. It's not just one route, you know. I mean, okay. It's of 199 km. A total of, once again, could have been 1.2 billion people traveled. You've said traveled already. Traveled is actually used 4 times in your body paragraphs here. On the other hand, this is a connector, which you should have used up higher, not that one. On the other hand, we use it for talking about ideas. Okay, we've got this concept over here, and we have, on the other hand, in opposition or in contrast to this thing we've just been talking about. And so it's used to describe ideas and arguments. Almost never, you shouldn't use it in part 1. And there are a lot of connectors that are better for the essay and other connectors which are better for the report. Okay. The railway system in London was the oldest one. It still is the oldest one. Grammar. Old one. Which, there's that which again, which was established in 1863 with a route of 394 kilometers. Now, we have no idea that the fact that when it was inaugurated, that it was 394 kilometers in length. That would be, actually, I don't want to say it wasn't, because that's not on the chart. But it was probably opened with like 20 kilometers of track, and then they built on it over the 150 years that it's been around. It didn't just pop into existence at 394 kilometers. It was the only underground system when it was founded. This accounted for. No, don't use that there. What is this? Traveling, again, traveling. And be very careful with your numbers here. You say here that in Washington, D.C., only 144 passengers were carried, when it's 144 million. Remember, you can use M for million, and that's perfectly acceptable. Your total report was 210 words. That's a bit long, because you got a lot of extra stuff in here that you don't need, like making these two the least used underground systems among all the other countries, cities. By this point, we know what we're talking about here. Okay, we're talking about these underground systems. The least used. Stop. Don't need these extra words. In fact, it says right here, summarize the information, which means express the main ideas in as few words as possible. Now, I haven't got all of the band descriptors up here yet, but in your task achievement, okay, your key feature in this, when you look at this data, should have been old ones are bigger and carry more passengers. But no, you picked a couple of details and called those the main ideas. So I don't think that it rises to the key features were clearly highlighted. You never even made that connection. Clear overview. The data are appropriately categorized. Okay, you really didn't do any categorization. You didn't group anything together. No, you did in your overview. You did say Tokyo and Paris, but that's it. And how is that categorized? You know, they're connected in more ways than that. You got to categorize. So I don't know if it meets a 7, and then the rest of these I'm not going to comment on. You can't repeat words and get a 7 in lexical resources. You need to use the right kind of cohesive devices to get a 7 in cohesion and coherence. And stick with your tenses. Tenses are used for reasons, to express a particular relationship with the idea and time. So if you use the past simple, it's finished. If you use the present tense, it's an ongoing thing. Okay, hope that helps. I haven't done one of these in a while.